So part of my thermal image survey, I picked up that this wall here, which is the gable end of an extension, appeared to be cooler from the windowsill, which is here, downwards, than compared to, it was much warmer from the windowsill upwards. And the householder here is rather suspicious of the builder who built this. They fell out and didn't pay the full amount, and the customer had to take over and do work himself on the inside with the insulation up in the roof, but he had no idea about this. So I'm going to drill in here and do a cavity inspection in here and have a look. This is only 4 years old, so it should have been insulated, but I suspect it's not from the thermal survey. So I'm going to have a look inside here. Also, looking around, doing a survey, I did a thermal survey as well on this wall, the main gable end, and that area there. So the boiler is below, that's the flue for the boiler. So the boiler is that area, is an airing cupboard, so that's warmer. That appeared hotter on the thermal survey. Now, I'm going to have a drill a hole up there as well. Is it the case that it's just an airing cupboard, it's hotter, that's why it appears hotter on the thermal image? Or has the insulation that was blown fibre, has it slumped down, leaving a gap? In fact, you can see the lighter colour mortar. Those bricks were taken out and cavity trays were placed through the cavity onto this facing side of the internal wall, coming out to where the perp joints are, and where the lead flashing is. So I'm going to have a drill a hole up there and maybe there, and also if you can see like a smeared light coloration there. I suspect some of the cement or maybe a lime cement mortar mix was used, and it seems to be washed down the wall. So I'm also going to drill up there to see if that's leaked into the blown fibre insulation. And also the householder tells me that during the November storms, that gutter disconnected from the downpipe and the rain was pouring down this corner, and in fact it's gone green in here. That was very wet all the time, and this wall faces south. It's a south facing wall, and the southwesterlies smash into it. Apparently hear a lot of wind up in the loft conversion. So I'm going to drill a few holes in this and let's see what we find. Okay, so I've drilled my hole and I've put the probe inside, and I've filled it with silicone, so that's sealed. And the same with this one down here. There's the hole I've drilled and I've filled it with silicone, but it shows that there is insulation in that wall. I don't think it was the insulation that the bricklayer was supplied with. I think there was a firm rock wall bat, as it were, and I think that's down there, and up there is I think it's more like a loft looser rock wall roll, and they just stuffed it in, because there are pockets, and I'll edit the video and I'll show you some of the photos I took from inside the cavity, showing sort of it's in there, but it's a bit hit and miss. There's pockets. It's not standard thickness, as it were. I think it's the wrong kind. I think the builder got a different bricklayer, and the bricklayer ran off with the bats and put cheaper rock wall in. So no, it's not funny, but that's what's happened. Okay, so now I'm up closer to this brickwork. There's the flue. I'm going to drill a hole there. Apparently on the thermal image it was hotter sort of down below the flue, slightly this way. And you can see that it's been washed out of the joints, and there's holes appearing where this faces south. It gets maximum sunshine, it gets red hot during the summer, and then I guess in the rain it soaks it up, and then when it freezes that's what happens. It blows the sand and cement out in little tiny pieces, and over the years this is degraded. So I'm gonna now you can see it better. I will drill a hole. I'll put the ladder up maybe over there somewhere. I've put the ladder up through here. So I'm gonna drill a hole here, and I will edit the video and show you the results. Now results so far show me that there's voids all the way across where they put the cavity tray in, which we expected because it was done after the insulation. And that was through that hole, looking sideways and looking down, but looking up this way also there's a void, and that's the other hole. And there are voids looking down that way, across. There's a bit of insulation going that way and a tiny bit going that way. And then up at this one, again, there's a void looking down and a void looking across that way. Looking up, there was some insulation. And this area of wall here, there's a hole further down and a hole here. Got my probe still in there, and I don't know, you can, whether that will show or not. Complete void. You can see there's the inner, that's the outer inner face of the outer brick that we're looking at there. That's the inner face on this side, and then you can see a cobweb blown around, and I think that's a cavity tie, and then some bits of fluff stuck to the outer face of the inner blockwork. Apart from that, it's a void. Look, if I turn it, there's a bit of a blob of insulation. There's a bit more of a blob. That's a bit of insulation, as you can see. Bit of insulation, and then a void. And that void's looking directly down. That's looking down there. So there's voids everywhere in this end wall, which is why the thermal image showed up. It was quite warm on the outside when it shouldn't be. It's a bit of fluff from the insulation. So that is looking up at that angle across towards the gutter that way.